Hey guys, Miles here with Tactical Hyve, and in this video I want to cover something very important. If you've been shooting for a while, you've probably heard or understand the concept that your moving, actual running to position, just moving to position, should be separate from your shooting. What do I mean by that? If you move fast or slow, it doesn't mean that it should be connected to your shooting. You can shoot fast or slow independent of how fast or slow you're moving, right? So they're separate. Unfortunately, for a lot of newer shooters, it kind of goes hand in hand. The faster you move, you tend to want to shoot really fast. And vice versa, if you're shooting fast, you tend to want to move fast. Those who have a lot more experience realize that if you're able to separate the two, you can be a lot more accurate and more efficient. So what I want to share with you in this video is just a simple exercise, you might want to call it a drill, that you can add layers to improve separating your shooting and movement, and this also works actual moving and shooting. When it comes to advanced shooting, a lot of people will say that there's really nothing truly advanced in terms of actual shooting, the marksmanship, because a lot of it deals with core skills. But when it comes to moving and shooting, this is one of the areas that a lot of people agree is definitely more advanced, because the idea of separating your movement from shooting is something that takes a lot more practice. And so this drill, it's going to start off, it's very simple. We have 3 targets downrange, but you don't necessarily need to do 3 targets. So I'm going to add different layers to this. As I mentioned, this is a drill that separates shooting from movement, but it also can work moving and shooting. So we're going to do different layers here. So I'm going to show you 3 different variations. The first one is very simple. It just requires a stick or anything that you can use to mark a line where you can go over it, all right? And then 2 targets. Let's forget that target to the right. Don't worry about that. So what's going to happen, I'm going to talk through this drill first and then actually do the drill. Remember, the point is to separate shooting and movement. So I'm going to look at that left target, the furthest left target, and what I want to do is I'm going to take 2 shots, and then I'm going to move with my right leg. If I'm going to move to the right, I'm going to start with my right leg and then engage the middle target with 2 shots. What I want to do is kind of get comfortable. Whatever that pace is I'm comfortable with, I remember the cadence. So it might be something like this. It might be 1, 2, 3, 4, right? That might be the cadence or the rhythm I start with, okay? So one more time, it might be 1, 2, 3, 4. Notice the movement, how fast I'm moving with my legs. So what happens is after I'm comfortable with that, I might increase the speed of my shooting, but I keep the same tempo or the same speed with my legs. So instead of this 1, 2, 3, 4, it might be 1, 2, 3, 4. But the movement in my legs is the same thing. So that's just a slight progression in the speed. But little by little, you can get faster and faster, right? The idea is we're changing things. You could even slow down your shooting and then move faster. So it might be 1, 2, 3, 4, or sorry, I should say 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, but I moved my feet a little bit faster. The idea here is to separate everything. The way we are doing this, we're able to test ourselves because we want to get all of our shots accurately in the A zone. Right now we're using IDPA targets, so there's that 6-inch circle. So roughly the same thing, we just want accurate shots, okay? And you can change your distance. Right now we're at about maybe 6, 7 yards, all right? So I'm going to show you guys how this looks like, and you want to do it both directions, 4 shots each direction. If you want to progress with just 1 shot, you can, but it's a good indicator. If you're able to use 2 shots per target, it actually is going to test whether you're keeping your sights on target as well. So this is how it looks like. Okay. For those of you who are doing this drill, you're most likely more advanced, so you can do it from the holster. Okay. I don't have a timer, or I actually have a timer with me, so I'll put on the timer here, and we'll do it off of the buzzer. So I'm going to count off with the cadence 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, let's take a look. Okay, so shots are in. One of them, I got a little too excited in the first shot, so that's kind of in the C zone, I guess. In a USPSA target, it will still be the A zone, okay? So now I'm gonna go from right to left, okay? All right, notice the cadence there, okay? So now I'm gonna speed up my shooting, but the movement is gonna be roughly the same speed, okay? Again. Okay, so that was the first iteration where we are taking shots and moving, changing up our cadence of the speed of our shots. And what we did was, if we're moving to the right, we start off with our right foot. And if we're moving to the left, 1, 2, move with the left foot first, and then move to the other side of this stick. what we're going to do now is, because this is an exercise to also work moving and shooting as a whole, we're going to use a different technique too. And you'll see how this progresses to the third variation. So now, when the buzzer sounds, I am going to draw, take 2 shots. Instead of doing this, I'm going to do a crossover now. So what's going to happen is I'm going to use my left leg if I move to the right. So it looks something like this in terms of, I'm not shooting it by dry. I would draw, boom, boom. Instead of doing this leg, I'm going to step over, boom, 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 right here. I go to the other side. If I'm moving to the left, I use my right leg. So I would draw, boom, 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 boom. Okay? The concept here, or what's important, is that your head must stay on one level. Whenever you're moving and shooting, you want to try and do that. There's no sudden jerks or anything like that. So you need to move in a controlled manner. Okay? So I'm going to do this live and then show you how it looks like. I will use a timer, and because we're talking about moving and shooting, I am going to do this from the holster. Okay? So here we go. For that iteration, it's kind of choppy. I didn't like the cadence, so I'm going to kind of try and even it out. I might do it a little bit slower. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right? Okay, a lot more even in the cadence. Now I'm going to do it the other way. Try to speed it up a little bit, but my movement, my feet are going to move at the same speed. Okay? Okay. So as you can see with that last rep, I was much faster than the previous rep, but I kept my movement the same. And I do whatever I can to keep my head steady. All right, so this is why it's a great drill to move, separating your shooting speed from your movement speed, and also just moving and shooting in general. Now, what we're going to do is add a layer to that. So first variation was we just took a step this way. Second variation was we added a crossover. Now, we're going to use that third target, and this is why that's there. We're going to continue the motion. This allows us to, again, be able to work the tempo changes between our movement and shooting, but we also are working our movement. So what's going to happen is, on the buzzer, I'm going to take 2 shots, step with my right, and then continue with this motion, the crossover, what we worked on in the second variation. So this allows us to combine everything. And what you can do is you can always, again, change the tempo. All right, so now I'm going to go live and then demonstrate how to combine the first and the second iteration together. This is going to allow us to use that third target. Again, I'm going to do this from the holster. 6 shots. All right, I'm gonna do it the other way. Okay, same thing. Start off with 2 shots here, move with the left foot first, then do the crossover. Okay. So the idea there, we've just combined the first step, stepping to the right, with the crossover. Now, if you had more targets and you want to work more moving and shooting, you can do that. The idea here is we're working the movement in a progressive manner. So after you get comfortable and all of your shots are accurate, just doing this, moving left and right with a side step, then you can add that crossover, and you can continue to crossover as long as there's targets to do so, all right, if you wanted to. Now you can also change the tempo again, right? So I'll shoot a little bit faster, but I'm gonna try to keep the movement exactly the same, all right? So let's try this from the holster again, and I'll try to shoot faster with the same exact movement, all right? Here we go. Okay, so that was faster shooting, but the movement was similar. So now I'm going to do it the left side. Again, you'll notice how the movement is going to be the same tempo, but now I'm going to actually slow down the shooting. So there you guys have it. It's a simple exercise, and you can add, if you have a moving and shooting day where you're working movement and you want to be able to test your skills while your accuracy while moving, this you can add on layers of these sticks as reference points as to when you should be engaging another target. Now there's more than one way to do this. The idea here though is you start off slow, progress, add different layers, and you can change the tempo. Remember, advanced shooters understand how to separate their shooting speed from their movement, because if you think they always have to be the same, that can lead to inaccurate shots. So give this exercise a try. Let me know what you think in the comments.